stay linked and just trust in people that are next to you. Do not unlink, and if anything, UCPD will intervene if someone's that out of pocket. Just remember, silence and not to retaliate.
Chancellor Robert J. Ferguson. Today, with our silent protest at Sathergate, the UC Berkeley Black community wishes to address not only the racial climate at UC San Diego, but also how these events reflect specific incidents on our own campus. It is with deep frustration that we write to you today and for a moment demand your attention. Your letter failed to explicitly address the, quote, deliberate acts that discriminated and demeaned others based on race, end quote, at UCSD. Now let us be clear. We are disgusted that the administration is merely distressed by the following offenses. Firstly, the commemoration of Black History Month with a racist Compton cookout describing Black people as having short nappy hair and a limited vocabulary while consuming chicken and watermelon. Secondly, the broadcast of Koala's response to the Black Student Union, calling them, quote, ungrateful N-words. Thirdly, the hanging of a noose at a campus library. And finally, the note threatening as, quote, more nooses to come. The Black community at UC Berkeley finds your letter to the campus on February 24th dismissive and disappointing, especially considering that, as you mentioned, our campus is to pioneer the University of California's campaign for equity and inclusion. In response to some of the most blatant acts of hatred and discrimination our university has witnessed in recent memory, your letter simply redirected us to a, quote, 10-year plan as a mode of redress. While we believe this was not your intent, such dismissive treatment of the issue undervalues the total tonnage of the situation. Thus, the Black community cannot accept your redress, for it is not enough. Such language as, quote, working to discourage and prevent such incidents at Berkeley, end quote, implies that our campus is free of ignorant and thoughtless acts of racism. It is not. We would like to bring to your attention some of these acts. First, a hate crime committed by the men's crew team in which members encircled, assaulted, and poured beer on a Black female student while calling her the N-word repeatedly. UCPD was called and did nothing. Secondly, an incident in science class in which the professor turned out the lights for a classroom presentation and a student yelled, "Where did all the Black people go?" The professor made no rebuke. Thirdly, an on-campus PETA demonstration comparing enslaved Africans, lynched Black Americans, and Tuskegee experiment subjects to chickens, pigs, and cows. Canines were brought to a peaceful protest to, quote, calm the situation. Next, a hate crime in which the African American Theme House Co-op was vandalized with swastikas. A pirate party at Cloyne Co-op to which several students dressed in and refused to remove blackface. A Cal Greek officer retreat to which PHC and IFC members brought large amounts of alcohol and marijuana, and upon discovery, deflected blame to NPHC, though it was only one member present. Next, an incident in which a Black male architecture student was walking into Worcester at 3 a.m. and had the police called on him by a non-Black female student, accusing him of attempted rape simply because he entered the building behind her. And finally, an article in the Daily Cow which stated that Blacks are 7 times more likely to kill than whites. Though these incidents seem isolated, they're in fact symptomatic of a deeper issue that plagues the University of California as a whole. A continued marginalization of the Black student body. Again, let us be clear. Frighteningly low numbers of Black students are on campus since the passage of Proposition 209. To be exact, 3.49% of 35,843. The failure of the UC administration to effectively recruit and retain Black students, thus burdening the Black student organizations with this responsibility. The lack of well-funded support structure for Black students. Failure of the UC administration to appoint Black faculty. Failure of the UC administration to appoint culturally competent faculty in all disciplines, able to cultivate an inclusive learning environment. Failure of the American culture's requirement to effectively provide intercultural competence and sensitivity. And the lack of urgency implied by a 10-year plan, which remains inefficient in addressing the true issues affecting our campus climate, which is institutionalized racism. In short, we feel the administration's apathy towards these issues allows for racially insensitive acts to occur and fosters a mentality of indifference. Let the few hours of discomfort we cause be indicative of the anguish experienced daily by Black UC students. The UC Berkeley Black community stands here silent. Silent because we fear for the future. Silent because the past is prologue. Silent because there's nothing left to say. Our silence then is your opportunity to act. Sincerely, 3.49%.
Here can say that we feel the exact same way. Even at this time, now that we've removed the strips from our mouths and we've broken the silence, throughout the remainder of the day, whether it's we're going off to class, whether we're going back to our dorms, still make sure that we're promoting the awareness of what today was about. We have more flyers and pamphlets that we can all take into our various spaces on campus. So make sure that wherever it is that you're going, make sure that it doesn't end here, because this is not the end all be all. We've delivered our message. We've given it to them. Let's see how they react. As we all stated before, this is not the first time this has been done. This is the third blackout. There was one in 2001, same nature. One in 2004, exact same temperament. No changes have been made. So we're coming again a third time. And we'll keep coming back until we see change. However, this time, we're not going to drop the ball. And we're not going to leave it in their hands to make the decisions. We're going to come together and make sure we continue to put the pressure on them and hold them accountable as the administrative staff of this university and across the UC campuses. Yes, we're standing in solidarity with UC San Diego because of the hate crime that took place there, but just like we stated, we experienced this around the clock, around the year after year after year. These incidents that we listed have taken place over the past 5 years. If we were to go back further, there can be even more things to report on. So it's up to us to make sure that we hold them accountable, and that's what we'll be doing. So as we disperse and go into our separate spaces, let us keep that on our hearts and on our minds. What we did here today sent a very strong message. Don't let anyone discredit that. I don't care what the journalism department, what the people that are around trying to get the stories about what was the point of this, what do we hope to get from it, and whether or not we're living in a post-racial America. Whatever the message is that they're sending out, we know what we stood for today, and we know the reason that pushed us to be here. Because we didn't create the environment that exists on this campus. Some of us are freshmen, some of us are sophomores, some of us are in our fourth years like myself. But we continue to experience these things year after year after year. And now is the time when we're coming together as a body, as a community who experience these exact issues. We're coming together to figure out what we can do as a unit to move forward and to hold these people accountable. Thank you for your time, thank you for your commitment, and for your solidarity.